whoa, whoa. Where's the fucking gabagool?
Gabagool, yep. We're back with Sopranos Summer. No, it's not what we're here for today.
Although I do think one day we should cover other Sopranos episodes, because I picked all of those.
Oh, yeah.
I think you and Cody should pick some.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and Cody have to, pick some episodes, because,
there's so many good episodes.
You picked a lot of good ones, but yeah, they're literally what I was about to say. Yeah, there's just too many good Sopranos episodes. For this, we did pick another show. We're going to do something a little different. Because we haven't done it this way. We're going to talk about all 4 seasons of a show. I won't reveal it yet, even though for if you're obviously clicking on the episode and we're promoting it, you know what the episode's about anyway. But we keep it a mystery.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're going to talk about all the episodes, not all the episodes, but whatever
comes in our head.
we remember. Yeah. But it is that kind of show. It has that kind of quality, that dreamlike quality to it,
Especially especially after the first season, it gets more dreamy and heady. I would say third and fourth season are definitely the most
especially
trippy, heady of them all.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. That's right. We're talking about the Big Bang Theory.
Oh, God, no. Don't
no.
you dare wish that evil on this podcast.
No, I know. I should have not even said. I might have to bleep that show's
People
name.
will literally unsubscribe to us.
The algorithm will be like, oh, fuck these guys.
Who knows? Maybe we would gain followers if we did a Big Bang Theory episode.
Most popular episode of
Yeah, because as awful as that show is, people watched it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
But it's all middle America idiots. Bunch of fucking yokels. Sorry to any of our fan base that's living in middle America right now, but
or anybody that likes the Big Bang Theory, I'm not forgiving you for that. You should forgive us for still.
My uncle, he loved the Big Bang Theory, and
oh boy,
he died of cancer, and pretty aggressive. So I used to tell this joke on stage. This was 3-4 years ago. I used to tell this joke on stage. I was like, I can't help but notice the correlation between my uncle binging Big Bang Theory and his aggressive cancer. I know.
I mean, but there's a correlation there.
I do maintain that Big Bang Theory is what caused his cancer and exacerbated it.
I just never really liked the show. I watched some episodes. I was like, it's not for me. But what I really resented about the show was that people expected me to like it.
Because you're a nerd.
Because it's Anthony, you're a nerd, so you should love this show. I'm like, go fuck yourself.
No, that's fake nerd shit.
Yeah, it didn't feel authentic,
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas I could think of, here we go. We could segue this. I got something to the actual topic. So a show like Community, for instance, I don't know if you've watched Community, but that actually felt authentic. They were nerds. We're always trying to be cool, but aren't we all? That's just how everyone is. But it always felt real. And Donald Glover on that show as Troy was one of my favorite characters. Funniest of fucking all time. Not what he's trying to bring to Atlanta at all. Atlanta could be hilarious at times.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But it's not a comedy, really. It's more than that. It's
agreed.
That's why I love Atlanta. It's so much.
Yeah, no, it is. I literally didn't watch it until a month ago, just because I was I need a new show to binge. I need something to watch. I've never checked out a single episode of Atlanta, and I breezed through all 4 seasons, and I loved it, man. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, this is a weird fucking show. But I like it. I like weird humor, just weird situations.
Yeah. And I feel that it's so Donald Glover, man, I've been a fan of Donald Glover. I'm not gonna lie, when people are oh, I was listening to that guy's shit before everybody. I really was. When he was this guy,
I genuinely remember about you, seriously. That
seriously?
You low-key knew of and liked Donald Glover before he even popped off.
Yeah, I seriously did, because he started off as this guy Sickboi, and he would rap in this really whiny, nasally voice, Sickboi. It sounded like he had a cold. That was his gimmick.
Sickboi.
And then so I feel Sickboi, Paperboi,
all about that Paperboi.
Yeah,
that song does kind of slap though.
I love that song. Yeah, it's not on Spotify. I'm really mad.
I love that song is the only song he's known for throughout all 4 seasons.
Yes, that's one of the best things about the show.
Exactly. It's like, it's a continuous trope. They're like, Paperboi, all about that Paperboi. Like, that's all they quote is that one song.
But like, and like until like the second or third season, I'm like, wait a minute, like you never, but then it clicked, right? It's like, if you're saying like Paperboy's like hot shit, right? Everyone likes him, like he's very well respected in the show as a rapper. You have to actually give him that. You can't just do that. You can't just make up a song and be like that, everyone's going to think that's a banger, you know? So like if it's kind of like Tenacious, Tenacious D, right? Like they have the song Tribute. And it's about the best song in the world, but it's just a tribute. Like you don't actually know what the song is, but this is just their interpretation of that. Like you can't know Paperboy's like discography. You just have to assume he's the best.
Exactly. No, you're right. Yeah, no, I love that. That's like the thing that he's known for.
Yeah, it works. It works in the show all the time. Like you're like fucking Paperboy.
I love Paperboy. I think he was easily one of my favorites. Him and Darius are my favorite, I would say.
Yeah,
easily.
Absolutely. I like Earn though. I really connect with Earn. Like it's hard,
You give hard earn energy.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like Donald Glover, I've just always connected with his music, with his comedy. Like I just like respect him as like a creative person, and like I followed his career like back when it was like Donald for Spider-Man. I was like, make this. I wanted him to be Miles Morales back in like 2012. Or that's when he was like really pushing hard for it.
He would have been a great.
Like I've just always been a fan.
He would have been a great Spider-Man. Period.
Yep, like, exactly. Like he just would have made it. He would have made it. So I'm glad he got to be Prowler, or at least not really, but Shocker. He's kind of the Shocker, I guess.
No, he's Prowler.
He is Prowler, not No Way Home. Homecoming.
Prowler.
Yeah. So I'm glad they put him in, but like I wanted him to have a way bigger role. He's going to be like Disco something. Like they're doing another, like Sony has all these like rights to all these Spider-Man movies. He's going to be like Disco King or something.
We don't care about offshoot Spider-Man movies.
We don't want that.
Literally nobody wants it. Spider-Man fans don't even. We just want dope-ass live-action films and more Into the Spider-Verse.
Yep. Oh, Hypno Hustler. That's the name of who
I'm really hyped for Hypno Hustler.
Yeah. But like if it was really like the kind of thing where it's like Donald Glover had full creative control to just take a character and do whatever he wanted, he could kill it. That's the thing. Like I'm not hyped for the Hypno Hustler part. I'm hyped for the Donald Glover aspect of it.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm not hyped for it. I'm just like, whatever. Hypno Hustler, whatever.
Hustler.
Like, is he going to be part of the Sinister Six? Like, it's me, the Hypno Hustler. Like he's doing like I don't even know what he does.
Dude, one of the for all our listeners, in case you haven't put it together, we're talking about Atlanta.
Yeah.
Obviously. Donald Glover's FX show Atlanta, created and written by Donald Glover. Starring him, Brian Tyree Henry, Lakeith Stanfield, and Zazie Beetz. And cameos
sarcastic.
from people here and there throughout, but those are the four main.
Liam Neeson.
Dude, the Liam Neeson cameo really fucking had me laughing.
Yeah.
Because before that, they were talking about, I think it was like the episode before.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I'm the black Liam Neeson.
No, it's a white guy, and he says, I'm the white Liam Neeson. And they're just like, what?
And then at the next episode, they go to that weird party, and Liam Neeson is there.
Yes. Yeah, he's at, or like Paperboy's talking to him at a bar. That's where they meet. I think it's after the party. Yeah.
You're right, but they're still in Europe, right? They're in Amsterdam or something.
Yeah. Season 3, they're in Amsterdam. Season 3, like they're on tour.
All Amsterdam, all Europe for some reason. A lot of my friends who are huge fans of the show, and I'm like almost everyone across the board, they're like, yeah, season 3 is the weakest. The main criticism I get from friends of mine who are fans of the show is that, dude, it doesn't really focus on the central characters that much, which every other episode is a random fucking episode.
Yeah, it's so random.
But I kind of loved each and every single one of them.
Yeah. And everything kind of connects, right? Like it's still like the thing about Atlanta is that like each episode is its own thing very much. Like there's a story, but it's not the kind of episodic TV that would be like, a regular sitcom or something like that.
It's not. Like it does connect, but not as like, I agree, not as like sequential as like most TV shows.
Yeah. But there's things that connect in seasons 3 and 4 that because I binged it, I was like, this is really interesting. Like that lake keeps coming back in many episodes. I don't know if you realize
The lake that they go camping at?
So it's not that lake, but that is a lake. So lakes are like a big thing, but especially this one lake. So in the beginning of season 3, we're going right into season 3, whatever the fuck.
We'll jump around.
Yeah. So season 3, the very first episode, it starts with this white guy and this black guy in a boat on the lake. And it's like a ghost story.
Yes.
The white guy's actually like a ghost, and like all these ghosts pull down the black guy.
Yeah.
And it's actually a dream of a kid that the episode goes into that's based on a true story about this black kid that was adopted by this lesbian couple.
This
and
white lesbian couple.
Yeah, and they had 2 other black kids, and they thought they were doing a good thing, and it was
They were
murder
fucking
suicide.
crazy.
They crashed.
They killed themselves and the children by jumping off of a bridge into a river or a lake.
Right, and you see the way like they abuse the kids by feeding them like raw chicken and just neglecting
It was
them.
so crazy, that episode.
Yeah. It's so hard to watch, but then like hilarious in the darkest ways, you know? It's just so, like Donald Glover's really good at that kind of humor, you know? Like
I agree.
So
that
good.
episode is like pretty genius, to be honest. Because it is like uncomfortable, and you are like, dude, fuck this white lesbian couple. I feel so bad for these kids.
Right, exactly. You're rooting so hard for him to escape, and also, like, he thinks of the best plan.
Dude, that episode, like, I don't know, not to sound like pander, like more so than any other thing in this specific show, it showed how like the system is so fucked. But like it really is like this dude when he goes. That's a true story, by the way. When in that episode, when the kid goes running up to a cop.
The whole thing's a true story, especially that.
And the cops saw these, white lesbian parents were like, oh, kid, you're just crazy.
And there's a real picture, and the kid's crying, and he's like, you could tell, like, he's like, help me. In real life, those kids did not survive. In the show, they do. But so to that point, exactly, and what makes Atlanta so great, it's based on a true story, but the whole time you're watching it, it just seems so ridiculous. It seems
you didn't even know it was a true story until I told you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It blew my mind when you said that. And then it's like, fuck. And then in the episode, it's actually the whole thing was a dream of Ern's.
Yeah.
And that's the start of season 3 after Atlanta was away for a few years. And you're like, what? Like, so like, it's
such a weird way to start off the show.
Yeah. So I can understand people being mad, but it's still it's one of the best episodes of the series, I would say. I really like that episode.
I like that episode a lot. I like season 3 like a lot. I think they're all great.
Me too.
But because of how fucking weird, like you could tell Donald Glover was like, fuck it, I'm going to go here. I'm going to like,
exactly.
I don't care if people like it's not even necessarily that funny, but like, I'm going to go here. And I like pretty much most of the weird episodes in season 3.
But so in season 3, like I was saying, like that family, we get the lake at the beginning of the episode, and the family crashes into the lake, or the couple crashes into the lake at the end of the episode. And later on, in the very last episode of the season, Ern, like he has a bag, and that the I guess the airport is sent to him. They're like, here's your bag. He's like, it's not mine.
Oh,
but it says Ern. And it turns out to be the Ern from the beginning of the season. The guy I was just talking about in the rowboat, who was a ghost, who we find out shot himself
in that episode with the reparations and everything.
Exactly, yes.
Which is, that's probably my favorite
That's a fucked episode, yeah.
Seriously.
It's so real. It's so real.
It's so real. Me and Maisha watched it, and it was it's hilarious in all like the fucked up ways. Because it's like, dude, who's the dude? That actor? He's the one. He's in The Hangover. He always plays like that character.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but I recognize him. Yeah, like he's so good at playing whatever character.
Like
that
guy is
like
character. Dude, my favorite part of that episode is when he's like with his daughter. He just fed her dinner, and then fucking gets a knock on the door, and it's this black woman. She's like, oh, she has her camera phone out. She's like, oh, look at this house. Everything's all nice. And he's like, excuse me, like, can I help you? And then she's like, yeah, your great grandfather something owned my great grandfather. So, and then she like barges in. She's like, oh, we might have to redo this bathroom. He's like, no, get the fuck out of my house. And then he kicks her out of the house, and he slams the door. And from outside, she goes, don't be slamming my door. Dude, and then he pulls up to his house after work the next day, and they're all out there barbecuing and chilling. And he dude, that episode is like fantastic.
Yeah, I like when he gets the job in the kitchen, and like like they find out, okay, you're going to get a certain percentage cut based on how much you owe.
Yeah.
And like, it's like he owes a lot, but it's just like, good. Like your family owns slaves, so you deserve to pay more. Like, it's just like.
That's a rough reality, huh? I don't have to worry about that.
It is.
Slave
Exactly.
owner
That's
in my DNA.
not in my
Unless
family
those
either. We don't, I don't.
but whatever.
Yeah. As far as I know. I mean, hopefully I don't.
You don't
I don't
know.
think
You've never done a DNA test, have you, Anthony?
What do you mean? A DNA? How do you?
Well,
how would that
ancestry,
in a DNA?
they would see like, oh, actually, you come from the
ancestry,
Iannaccios in 1856, who were the only Italians to own slaves.
Yeah, see, exactly. It just wasn't. No, like my family they didn't come to America until like way past that. Okay. So like that's why I'm saying I'm pretty sure my family was not doing that shit. The Iannaccios are safe from that shit. I would want to find out and be like, fuck,
you
like I don't
There's ways to do it.
Right. But I'm saying we'd have done ancestry. And like, as far as I know, I'm saying, unless there's like from someone in my mother's past. But again, my family are immigrants from Europe. Yeah. So it's like not.
What about European slaves?
I feel like that was not in Italy, though. Did it? I mean, maybe. I really don't know. This is what I'm saying. I don't know
the history
what
of slavery throughout the entire planet. I don't.
Okay. I'm
mean, I'm sure at some point. Well, actually, I guess Rome. Yeah, there were slaves in Italy.
Right.
Gladiators forced to fight and kill each other.
Right. So if you go back to the gladiator
days, the Iannaccios
days,
in ancient Rome probably had slaves.
Yeah, probably. Unfortunately, I have to, I have to deal with those demons.
Brutus Iannaccio was the first.
Brutus Iannaccio. Fuck that guy.
But yeah, I do love that episode just because you're right, but also like that dude who, without his great grandfather owning slaves, was just like a normal everyday guy who totally like his world got turned upside down in the course of a day. Dude, his wife and kids leave him.
Yeah.
Like he just
But like what I also like liked about it was like the like it's gonna hit differently for like me and you. Like
for sure.
Like the other side of it was like, when he goes to the office and he's talking to one of the black guys at work, he's like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And that guy's just like, sure. Like he just is not. Exactly, because when did that white guy give a fuck about that black guy's life? Like, so that's why it's just like so like it just works so well.
That scene is great is because he asks him, he's like, hey, he's like, and the black dude's like, do you want my advice? He's like, yeah. And he's like, you want my advice? You just sit there and take it and pay whatever she wants. And then like it cuts like before he's even done finishing his thought. And the white guy asks his white coworkers, he's like, hey, can you guys give me advice? Like, so he completely ignored everything he said.
Yeah, exactly. See, yep. Mm-hmm.
That episode is phenomenal. I agree, actually. I forgot all about that one. That's great.
See, season 3 is really good.
Okay, I know we're jumping around here, but I want to, and it's, going back to one of your points about lakes and things that connect. Okay, season 3, throughout Europe. I don't know if you notice this, but there's always a bunch of people wearing goofy hats.
Yes.
In season 3, when they're in Europe, everywhere they go, there's people in the background, like, extras, whatever, wearing goofy hats, just like sprinkled. And then in season 4 is that episode about how
I love that fucking episode.
That episode's phenomenal. Oh my God.
That might be my favorite of like the whole series.
I also showed Maisha that one. I was like, dude, that might be my favorite. That might be my favorite episode. Dude, the best line in that movie is when, it's a documentary. Well, they did a few of those kind of here for the listeners. Sometimes in
the goof who sat by the door.
Sometimes in Atlanta, they would do mockumentary kind of episodes about a certain random topic or something. This one was about a goofy animator or a Disney animator, a black man, about how he like low key came to run Disney, be the CEO and everything. And he like expounded upon Goofy, and he wrote the Goofy movie that we all know and love. But one of the best parts in that is when they're talking to people that knew him. They're like, yeah, he just set out to make the blackest movie ever made. And then the documentary guy's like, what? He's like, think about it. Goofy, a single father with a son trying to raise him, working a shit job. And then, it was so fucking
But the whole
funny.
episode makes you rethink a Goofy movie.
Really
so if you saw a Goofy movie, like as a kid, you're going to believe like it's so well done that like, you're like, yeah, all this makes sense. Like, but like, I think even the creators of a Goofy movie, who were white guys, of course, they were like, this episode was incredible. Like, we're like, we never thought of Goofy that way, and it makes so much sense.
Sure.
Like, they're just like, oh my God.
It's a really clever and hilarious episode.
Yeah. But going back again to the lake, the dude who makes it, he kills himself at the end. He crashes into the lake.
And they find his big goofy shoes, remember?
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Dude, that episode I was laughing out loud so many times.
I laughed out loud. That episode's hilarious. It really is funny. I love when they're like, yeah, after, what was his name, the character? Can you Google it, what it was in that episode? Because I just don't want to keep calling him like the black guy or whatever.
Yeah, well, his son was actually named Maxwell.
Yeah,
he named his son Maxwell.
I just remember they keep talking about him.
Oh, Thomas Washington.
There we go. This fictional character, Thomas Washington. He's an animator for Disney. He's an artist. He draws. And so there's a part where after a while, Thomas started to believe he was Goofy, and he would do this. Yeah, he would do this creepy laugh, like.
Oh, that part made me laugh hysterically because he's like, he would do this creepy laugh, but then he would have this. He would look so sad. Like,
oh, it was great.
Like the way. That's the best episode for me. And like Amsterdam, and someone mentions it. Like, there's the episode where Paperboi is having the dream, or I don't know I forget what's happening, where like he's following this woman around Amsterdam, but it's all a dream. Like, she's not, it's just like something in his brain.
Right.
I think the same episode we're thinking about with the goofy hats.
And then he ends up, doesn't he, like, when they're walking to Amsterdam, there's like some crazy homeless guy who's like, And
then it turns out to be him. Yeah.
That shit was like, dude, there were episodes in Atlanta that were like incredibly meta and just fucking, out there.
Defied reality. They're eating human hands in the season last episode of season 3. What the fuck?
Which is also a weird episode because like Zazie Beetz, the character, has now adopted this like French Madeline accent.
It's so weird, yeah. But it's really like just her way of coping with like she doesn't want to be a mom. Like she wants to be more than, what she's being defined as. Van's an awesome character, Sometimes she's like, I don't like her at all because I'm just rooting for Ern too much.
I like her overall.
Ern could be a piece of shit.
Ern can be a piece of shit. And he can also be like a lame.
Yeah.
Like he like, I don't know.
He's an absent father for a lot of the time too. Like he's
pretty absent
pursuing
father.
His career.
He's pretty shitty towards Zazie Beetz. What was her name again? Vanessa, yeah.
Van, yeah.
I like that episode a lot. And she's like, Van? Who's Van? Like to her friends?
Yeah. Yeah. She does a great job. She's a great actress. Like I love that like this cast just works so well together and everybody's great. Like, a lot of shows, like if you have an ensemble, like Donald Glover, again, going back to Community was a great ensemble cast. Like everyone being great just made the show better. Like Atlanta, it didn't matter if you're following the A story, the B story, the C story. All the characters are just so interesting. And you really can't predict what anyone's going to do, what's going to happen. Like Atlanta, we're talking about all these episodes about this lake too, but Atlanta did have kind of like this horror vibe throughout it. Just unsettling, just very unsettling, which is dream-like too. The whole show going back to that, like, was it all a dream?
Especially with the last episode, you're just like not really sure.
Yeah, not that was it all a dream, but like was it? What is reality? Yeah. Like maybe that's the better way, because from season 1, maybe even episode 1, Darius is saying shit like it's all a simulation. Like. He's talking about that from day 1. And I love that about his character because you're like, what the fuck? But you're like, okay, I fuck with you. You're saying some like, it sounds profound, but you're just high as fuck.
Darius is pretty cool though. I like his, he also has one of the best episodes in the entire series is the infamous Teddy Perkins.
Episode,
which is,
that's in the top 5
one of the
too.
Creepiest fucking things on television I've seen.
Ever. Talk about unsettling. Yeah. Like, talk about unsettling.
Do you want to give a synopsis for that episode? Because I feel like these need full explanation.
Can I hit the bong and then give a Teddy Perkins synopsis?
I'll talk. I'll tell the people what's up.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so I know we're jumping around a lot, but the thing is, all these episodes are like really just out there and funny, but it's like absurdist humor. It's not necessarily... It's not like you're not gonna like necessarily laugh out loud at a lot of these episodes, or it's just like, God, I don't know how to say it. I feel like I'm being a pretentious douchebag. I was just impressed. I was personally impressed by like the humor. It's more than just highbrow. It's just like really like philosophical meta humor, and I don't think I've ever watched as much meta humor as I have with a show like this and fucking pulled off beautifully. So each of the episodes that we keep referring to, they're also just like mind-fuckling because they're all so out there and absurd, but like really good through lines of comedy that connect it through.
I was going to say, like, another cool thing about like Atlanta, it's with like comedy and horror. They both rely on surprising you, you know,
Right.
or like the unexpected. And Derrick Comedy, did you ever see any of those sketches that Donald Glover did when he was like in NYU?
Not really, not off the top of my head, no.
So he had a YouTube channel, Derrick Comedy. Hilarious stuff. Like all their sketches were just out there, man. I loved it. Like there's one sketch where it's just like a fake movie trailer and they have guns, but all the guns have different sound effects. So it's like baba booey, baba booey. Like it's just like Super Mario noises, like the coins and like and all this shit, like just weird shit like that. But their sketches were always just like there's one where like at the end Donald Glover's drinking like poison.
That's funny.
Like it's just like okay, like he always just did out there shit is what I'm saying. And like with the way like Atlanta episodes are, especially the Teddy Perkins episode, it's funny, but it's also just like there's danger. And it's real danger. Like it's like
always real danger. Wait, so hold on. I wanted to just say something before I lose my train of thought. I also yeah, it's like a lot of the shows are unsettling. There's an element of horror throughout the entire show. Oh fuck! I'm about to lose my thought. What was I gonna say? Oh, also cringy. A lot of the show made me cringe and made me uncomfortable, not just in like a horror fear way, but because of like what I was watching, how I would watch Ern behave, especially with Vanessa. I would just cringe. I was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, like a lot of the show would elicit a genuine response from me. And that's why I enjoy it so much, because I like being made to feel things.
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
if it's uncomfortable.
Like going back season 1, or is it season 1 or season 2 where I think it's season 1. Paperboi goes on that talk show. That was a great episode where you get those fake commercials.
Yes, that's like another one of like, where they do the weird shit.
But you get that black kid that thinks he's white.
Yeah.
And like you see him practicing in the mirror.
Yeah.
He's like, he's like, you watch Game of Thrones? But I was watching like an interview with Brian Tyree Henry, and he was like, I was really cringing at this guy. Like in that scene, he's like, your bangs? Like, he's like, what the fuck? He's like really mad at the way this guy looks. He's just like, what? He's like, he's like, I did the show, but even like, I would look at Donald sometimes and be like, really? I love that. I love that even the people that worked on the show were like, all right, whatever, Donald Glover, like, you're paying us. This is Atlanta.
You know what episode I liked that always like, that also had like a huge element of horror is, I think it's season 1 or 2, but it's when Paperboy gets chased through the woods by those kids who try to rob him. That's a scary fucking episode. Like, bunch of psychos. Even he's like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
yeah. You want to hear something crazy? So same interview, that his mom in real life died while they were filming that season.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Brian Tyree Henry's mom. And like the episode's kind of like, so at the beginning of the episode, it's really fast. Like he's laying on the couch and his mom is like cleaning up in the background. That's the only time you ever really see his mom in the show.
Yeah.
And he doesn't respond to her or acknowledge her. It's almost like, kind of ghostly.
Yeah.
And then like, he's kind of out in the world, just like he really just, it's really interesting, right? Like that's just what I'm saying. Like Atlanta always has this horror element. He was just out chilling. He's like, I'm just going to walk. And he gets mugged, beat up, and then he's lost in the woods.
Stalked throughout the woods because you hear them laughing. They're like, Paperboy, where you at?
Yeah. So do you remember there's like a scene where like it's like showing you the top of the trees and it's just like endless woods?
Yes.
So he said in this interview, he's like, check this out. This is really cool. Like he's like, it represents grief. Right? Like you don't know where it begins and where it ends. It just kind of keeps going.
Oh.
I thought that was really cool. And the way he deals with it in the episode is exactly that. Like, I guess the director wanted him to have like a Zippo lighter. Like you could think Paperboy has a lighter, so he's not like lost in the dark. He's like, no. He just has to find his way out on his own. And that homeless guy, like he puts the knife to his throat.
Yeah.
Remember that? And he's like, you gotta, the only people that have time are dead people. Like he makes him think about life differently.
Yeah,
and
you're right. He says some things like, "You better live." Like,
yeah,
he like
exactly.
threatens him to like live life and experience all of it. But then he'll go off and like talk to the whatever he sees.
Yeah, exactly. So you never really know. Like maybe Paperboy was just imagining that. Maybe that's just
true.
like that's the thing about Atlanta. That's what I really would hesitate to ever use this word, but Donald Glover's a genius. I give him that.
I agree. I don't
give that to many people.
I don't give it either. I would say dude, I love him too, but people talk about Bo Burnham and his creativity a lot. I think Bo Burnham and Donald Glover are respectively like the two best at what they do.
Yes. Yes, I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, Bo Burnham sucks,
exactly.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, Bo Burnham does
Donald Glover.
He's also a genius.
I really respect both
He's
of them.
also kind of literally a genius if we want to get technical with it. No, seriously.
I feel like they both are, yeah.
I'm sure they both are, but I know, because I listen to podcasts, he was going to be a mathematician and go to MIT.
A Donald Glover?
No, Bo Burnham.
Oh, Bo Burnham, nice.
Yeah, so he's like really like mathematically smart and whatnot.
Nice.
He decided to.
I could see that. Yeah. I know Donald Glover. He went to NYU.
He did.
Writing program. Tina Fey.
Shout out.
He got 30 Rock, and then
he also
his
wrote
career
on
just took off.
SNL, and then he's earned his success. Seriously.
Oh, more than earned it. But it's just crazy. Like yeah. And this is what I'm saying. Like he wasn't always Childish Gambino, so it's very interesting to see his evolution from like Derrick Comedy. Then Troy from Community, then he's Childish Gambino, and like at first you're like, really? But then you're like, okay, no, he's great at it. I love Childish Gambino. I love his music.
Yeah, I agree.
Like this show, like I'm sure is a lot of like his experience as Childish Gambino.
Especially
even though
like
he's not playing the rapper.
Yeah, especially with Paperboy's rap thing, I bet he's experienced a lot of this.
Right? So it's interesting because you have to think about that too. He's definitely like had this experience. Like a lot of it is like how white people in America approach black people. And it's just like, fuck.
I agree.
Like he's highlighting that.
But I also like going to that point. It's still also about white people, but it's the episode, they're in Europe, it's season 3. It's the episode where they are at that weird party at the house.
Oh, yeah.
Where Paperboy gambles and they won't pay the money they owe him.
Yeah, that's so weird and so tense.
And then but there's also that one artist who's living at the house, that black British artist.
Yes.
And who Earn even says, he's like, I think his art sucks. Like,
yeah.
And then he's talking to Paperboy who doesn't give a fuck, but he's like, yo, I forgot who the owner of the house is. Some like rich big white guy who like wants artists to like work there and thrive, and that's his pitch. And he's like, Aaron is like, yo, I think like this dude is just using this guy to like stay here and get all this money and get all this like whatever. And then he's like, yeah, so. And then he's like, I thought like it's a cool point because Don Glover eventually like changes his mind. He's actually walking past that picture of the first ever bank which owned slaves.
Yes. Yep.
And that's when he changes his mind to that white European
like,
guy. He's like, yeah, this is what we're going to need. Like a $2 million advance, like crazy shit. And I like that episode a lot because I do feel the same way. Like I felt the same way watching it. I was like, yeah, fuck that. The artist is just using him. And then I was like, actually, fuck it. What does it matter? Like,
yeah. And then part of that was also Earn making a money move for himself to get a cut of that too. Sure. So that was cool too. Like Earn levels up between season 2 and 3 hard. Like he like is like getting moves made, Dude, when you think it's what season is it? It's when they're on the plane. It's okay, season 2, the finale for season 2 finale. And Earn forgot that he has the golden gun in his bag. The golden gun, yeah. Oh, another great episode. Just the episode that introduces the golden gun.
Yes. Actually, that episode, yeah, that's with Cat Williams, right?
Yes, that was a great episode.
And also, I thought Cat Williams was incredible in that, like as an actor.
He was. He
wasn't even like he wasn't like Cat Williams on stage how he is.
Not at all.
Like, he was like a legit actor. And I was like, I didn't know Cat Williams could act. Like I was impressed.
Yeah.
He's great as his uncle in that episode with the alligator. Doesn't he have like an alligator in his house?
Yes. At the end, he escapes and you just see the alligator walk out and the police are like,
the cops ask her and is like, does he really have a gator in there? He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cat Williams. Damn, I forgot all about that episode. That's a great episode.
I'm telling you, there's not an episode I disliked of Atlanta.
I agree. But Atlanta is a solid show.
Yep. Every episode is different. Like if you're expecting no, it's just every episode is just different.
We talked about this briefly, but when they're in Amsterdam, the Tupac episode.
Oh yes, the Tupac episode. That's insane. That's where we get a cool little Van side story where her and Darius are just kind of following like their intuition and ending up in random places.
Yeah, they're like, we're just going to travel to Amsterdam, do whatever we run into. And they end up pretty much going, and this is a real thing, by the way, because in certain European countries like Sweden and Norway, you're allowed to like, it is what they did at the thing. Like, you are allowed to kill yourself or whatever. And it is like it's like a European, almost like Midsummer-esque type celebration of death.
Yeah.
You're legally allowed to do that. And it's like a real like old tradition thing. But you find out they go like, there's all these like white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed European, Amsterdam, Dutch, Holland people, whatever.
Feels like a cult.
Feels like a cult. But even before that, like Lakeith Stanfield, he's like, you know what? I think we're gonna meet Tupac today. And then
he does
Dan's
say
like,
that.
why? He's like, because on the ride over here, his song came on over the radio, and there's this energy I'm feeling. And then like, dude, they get to this house where this person has decided to die. It's implied that they're sick and they're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, like, for some reason, I guess he chose to go with a guillotine that would chop his head off.
Or no, he gets suffocated.
Oh no, you're right. But the guillotine drops the plastic on his
Right,
face.
and he's like,
yeah,
can't
you're right.
move.
You're
You
right.
never see the face.
You never see the
body.
face. But it's implied that it's Tupac throughout.
Yeah.
Even before this one moment happens, everyone's like, "Oh, maybe it's Tupac. It might be Tupac." And then finally, like as he dies, plays his song "Come with Me."
But also, Van goes to hold his hand. And so she confirms it for us.
Yeah.
Like with her reaction, like you see it in her face, like it's just like, yep, that's Tupac.
That's Tupac.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
So in that same episode, like going back to Earn making moves, like he kind of every time he needs something for Paperboi, he fleeces the venue owner
Yeah.
to get more, and the venue owner does everything he says, and then at the end of the episode, Paperboy's like, "Nah, I'm not performing," and they're like, "All right, let's just bail." Well, they'll get insurance, and that guy gets so pissed off, and he chases Earn. But everyone's in blackface. That's why he won't do the concert. Like,
oh yeah, I
in
forgot
Amsterdam,
about that.
like it's still blackface, but it's like culturally kind of different. But it like some guys explaining this to them, they're like, "This is fucked. Like, let's get out of
It's
here."
for Christmas for Black Peter.
Yeah, for like little kids. But either way, like it's just like a surreal situation. Like who would want to be in that situation anyway? So like what Atlanta is really good at doing too is like they're never gonna. It's not saying this guy never says anything racist. He never does anything racist towards Earn, but he can't tell black people apart apparently, and he can't tell that a white guy in blackface is different from Earn.
Yeah.
And he beats the shit out of some random guy violently.
Yeah, violently beats the shit out of this dude in blackface who he thought was Earn.
Exactly. So it's like Atlanta always has those moments, and then Earn's just like, let's go.
Atlanta had like really intense racial moments.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I like also in season 3, the season where Paperboy's phone gets took.
I love that episode. That was an amazing episode. One of my favorites as well.
Incredible. With that weird journalist dude, the blogger.
Yep. Know why I loved it? Because I hated him the whole episode. Like, you think he stole the phone. He's being a fucking jerk.
Yeah.
He's just a huge fan.
He's a huge fan of his.
A huge fan. And it's just like, fuck. Like, Paperboy's like, the only way you can know this shit is if you stole my phone.
Yeah.
But it's really just because he listened to his mixtapes and shit like that. This is me meeting Donald Glover in real life, you know? Like, he accuses me of stealing his phone.
Yeah. And then you found out it was that weird white dude who they met at the party.
Yes, white Liam Neeson.
Yeah, white Liam Neeson, that kid. Like, it's funny. Atlanta also was really good at like not necessarily closing a lot of their threads. Like
exactly.
like,
you see, once that was it. You never saw that guy again.
Once that dude throws his phone in the garbage can and the tour bus leaves, that's all you ever like see of that guy, hear about the phone story. And like you never quite got his motivation for doing it.
Well, he just seemed like a hanger-on, you know. As soon as he found out Paperboy was here, he's like, "Oh, I know all the spots, blah blah blah."
Yeah.
Like, you know, it just seems like again going back to like Donald Glover or Childish Gambino, he probably experienced this. Where like, and probably every rapper and famous person does. Like, let me be part of your crew, you know.
Dude, that party episode is hilarious because Darius, Lakeith Stanfield's character, is talking to that American Asian woman. And I forgot what she says exactly, but
oh, yeah, I forgot too. And then they're like, they're like, what? Like they chase her down the whole episode. Well, they make a whole big deal about it.
It's the white Liam Neeson dude, and then he'll tell that story to every other European at the party. She said something like, not even that racist. It was just like inconsiderate, but even he wasn't offended.
Right, exactly.
And that dude's like, whoa. And then like later on throughout the party, he'd be sitting with like other European dudes and they're like, yo, did you hear about that racist woman? And then it just grows and grows. There's even that like at one point, like everyone's like, I'm so sorry you experienced that. And he's like, oh, yeah. I was like, I'm from Atlanta. Like I've experienced way worse. That wasn't anything.
Yeah, he literally says that.
Yeah. And then like, I forgot, but like one of the women is like crying. He's like, why are you crying? Like,
yeah.
It just, it was like, it's a critique on like white performative solidarity, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like they made a bigger deal of it than he even cared about.
A way bigger deal than it even was and that he cared about. Like,
and then ruined that woman's life, literally.
Dude, they like beat her and threw her out of the party.
Yep. You saw her crying on the curb and even Darius is like, whatever. Right? He
does. They see her as the car pulls away.
Yeah.
That's a weird, God, every episode is weird.
Yeah. Noah was actually a really good one too. And it's like everything about the episode, it was more grounded, but still kind of like, it's just weird. It's the Barbershop episode. Remember that one?
Dude, I forgot that actually. Shit. I keep saying that's my favorite.
That one.
That's one of my favorite. If we're talking top five, that Barbershop episode is top five. Seriously, top five.
Yeah. He just needs a haircut, and this guy just keeps pushing it off, and you're like, damn it, just get him the haircut.
But dude, I like that episode because it's a really like old-timey shtick, you know, like a old-timey comic. It's like, I'll cut your hair in 5 minutes, and then like something keeps coming up. But like, dude, the way he does it, he's like, just come to my baby mama's house. I'll cut your hair right there. Like, like, he's always just like, dude, I love it because Paperboi, like, he keeps even yelling at him. He's like, dude, motherfuckers, like, I swear to God, just cut my fucking hair. And he's like, all right, relax. He's like, I don't like how you're talking to me, man. Like, he just keeps flipping it on him. It's a really comedic episode.
Yeah. And there's all these cool, like, real moments, too, where it's like, you know, with his wife, well, not his wife, but like, he goes to, that's not his son, the younger kid. He just goes to cut some kid's hair. Just some like woman he's seeing.
It was the son. Yeah, it wasn't his son, but it was the son of the woman he's dating.
Yeah, and he just goes to cut his hair, and he gives him a good haircut. Like that's the thing. Like he cuts hair. He's really good at his job. So that's why Paperboy's kind of like, you realize that's why he's putting up with it. Like at the end of the episode, you realize like there's a reason Paperboy put up with all that shit. But like then you see him actually go to his real son, and like he goes to like the lumber, like to this like construction site to like get lumber. Like this guy's actually hustling.
Yeah.
Like, so like in some ways you could respect him for at least trying to do all this shit. He's just failing miserably.
Yeah. You're right. He does go to the lumber yard to steal the wood.
Yeah. And he gets caught. And he's like, call the cops, whatever. They get into a car crash.
Fuck, what is that?
They fuck up that lady. They crash into the back of her car and she gets out of the car. She's like, my back.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Dude, there's just like so many like genuinely funny lines. I forgot there's one episode, one scene where Darius says something that's not like a real word, and he's like, Darius, that's a made up word. And Darius is like, all words are made up, stay woke.
Yeah. That's great.
It's a great delivery too. All words are made up, stay woke. But oh wait, you never gave the synopsis for Teddy Perkins.
Oh right. Holy shit. Well that's what you get for being stoners. I love that they're stoners in this show too, you know.
Yeah, seriously.
They like the weed.
I can relate more because they're stoners.
Yep.
Classics.
Yeah, Paperboy's always smoking a blunt, a nicely rolled blunt. But yeah, so Teddy Perkins, right? So Darius he wants to buy a piano off Craigslist. It's like a classic piano. And he goes to this guy's house. It's like a huge mansion, like huge house. It turns out to be this guy, Teddy Perkins, it's basically Donald Glover doing like Michael Jackson / Smokey Robinson.
Exactly.
Like
it's a mix between the two of them.
But it looks really creepy. It's like it's borderline comedy all the time.
Yeah.
It's like white face for sure. Yeah.
But it's creepy white face. Like
it's super creepy. But like if you ever heard Donald Glover doing like a character in Derrick Comedy or Mystery Team, pause 1 second. Mystery Team. If you haven't seen Mystery Team, fucking watch that movie. One of the funniest movies ever. Have you seen Mystery Team, Jake?
Never.
Oh my God.
Damn.
I highly recommend Mystery Team.
Mystery Team?
Highly. It came out when we were in ACI, actually. Yeah, Mystery Team.
Really?
It's Donald Glover, it's the Derrick Comedy crew, and they're 20-something-year-olds when they made this movie, but like they're like grown kids basically, even though in the movie also they're 20-year-olds. Like people are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, but like they solve like mysteries and like they're still very childish, but like they get like into this thing with a mob and like this drug thing, and it's like it's a very like it's like a crime movie, but it's hilarious. It's like it's a murder mystery. It's really good. Mystery Team, like I just have to say watch it. Like it's just like if you like Donald Glover, it's weird, it's funny, but like he does a lot of like his whole thing is like he's a master of disguise. So like he does all these stupid voices that are not like great voices, but like it just works because it's funny. And so when he's doing Teddy Perkins, it just reminds me of a character he would do in Mystery Team with the voice especially.
Nice.
But it's entirely not like the vibe. It's just like super creepy, super dark. You're not sure what's going to happen next. Like Darius just wants a glass of water and he's not getting it.
Well, hold up. First he like pulls up to this like almost like, if I'm being honest, even when I saw it, even before you meet Teddy Perkins, I was like, this looks like an old time slave plantation house.
Oh shit.
It's in the woods. It's like a tucked away Wayne Manor in Atlanta.
Right. Yeah.
Just I say that because, dude, Old Money South is like slave owners. Anyone who's from the South and says they're old money and like has like that generational wealth, like in New York, if you're a Rockefeller or a Vanderbilt or a Carnegie, you were a piece of shit too, but you just exploited like workers. Old Money South is like slave owners. That's a little tidbit.
I heard Cody say he was old money.
Yeah,
I think.
Right. No,
just kidding.
Cody's not old money slave. Thank God. He's just regular poor money.
Yeah. Regular old.
But yeah, so he pulls up to this creepy mansion tucked away. He goes in. There's like no lighting throughout the entire house. And you find out why later once you meet Teddy Perkins, who is this like, fusion between Michael Jackson and Smokey Robinson. He used to be like, it's implied that he used to be like a big Motown singer, or was it his brother that was a Motown singer?
See, that's the thing. Like, so like I'm just forgetting as we're talking about it, like the character you meet, like you're going to assume like he's not Teddy Perkins, but I'm thinking that I would call him Teddy Perkins, but he's not. But the way we were describing Donald Glover and the white face and everything, but like he's talking about his brother, Teddy Perkins, who was like this famous Motown singer. Yeah.
But for all intents and purposes, because I don't know, this dude, whatever his name was, the brother, the Perkins. That's
what I mean. I think of him as Teddy Perkins.
Yeah, I think of him as Teddy Perkins. Yeah, I guess you're right, because he came to buy Teddy Perkins' piano.
Yeah.
Wait.
The whole time you're not sure if there's actually a second brother. Maybe he's lying about, you know what I mean? It seems like he's not. That's the thing. It's just like such a trippy episode.
Dude, and then like the motivation behind Donald Glover's weird character is so crazy too that it's almost like I could believe like someone having that motivation, like to up the estate. What better way than to plan a murder in the house of this former Motown star?
Yeah.
Remember, he was like, "This will be where the gift shop is."
Oh yeah, he shows him the gift shop, the Teddy Perkins gift shop.
Dude, but then like Lakeith Stanfield, he like keeps like traveling throughout the house, and he gets to the basement, and there's this like creepy dude in a wheelchair who just has like is completely covered up, even has like
the Invisible
black,
Man.
Yeah, like the Invisible Man literally has like black sunglasses and you can't see anything, but he communicates on a board. Doesn't he write on a board or something?
Yeah, exactly.
And he like tells Lakeith Stanfield, he's like, he will kill you, get out.
Yeah, like I thought that when I saw that at first, I'm like, oh, like that's just the guy we just saw like tricking him or something. Some weird shit's going on. But they're two separate people.
They're two separate people. And then, Lakeith Stanfield is trying to get out. And then dude pulls out a shotgun on him.
Yeah, so he's being held hostage.
And he's like creepily just like, I'm going to kill you. But then the wheelchair dude, his brother, shoots him dead.
Yeah.
Shoots
himself.
And then shoots himself.
And Darius is just like,
And he doesn't get the piano.
Yeah, he
either.
doesn't. It's just like so there's a lot of deaths. Like Atlanta can be brutal. Like there's a scene where
there's weird amount of suicide and murder.
Yes, like when Ern needs to get his jacket back from the Uber driver, and it turns out to be a police sting, and the Uber driver is wearing Ern's jacket, and the police mow him down with bullets, and Ern's like, "Wait, can you please just check the pocket?" It felt like a Larry David moment. You know what I mean? Like that felt like Curb Your Enthusiasm. And again, something I would relate to. Like, fuck, I need something in that jacket. Can you just check that dead terrorist body right there, please? Like,
you're right. I forgot all about that episode.
Again, like it's such a Donald Glover moment, like dark humor, just like it's so dark but so funny. Like you can't help but laugh. It's like even if you're not like, you know, like it's just like such a ridiculous.
Dude, going back to like ridiculous and weird shit. Okay, in the last season, when Ern, Van, and their daughter go camping, and you know it's he like confesses like he wants her to be with her, he loves her.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll be honest. That speech in the tent that he like gives her, I thought was a very touching. Like that was good. That was a well done. Speech.
Yeah, that's how he won her back.
The shit he says to Vanessa is very sweet. But remember, Van like tells their daughter about like I don't know some Perry Grumpkin, like some weird creature in the woods.
Oh yeah, and she catches it.
And she catches one, and they're like, "Oh, it must be like a squirrel or a rabbit." And they like go and they kick it, and it makes like some weird noise. It's not rabbity or squirrely whatsoever. And then Van is like, "What is that?" And she's like, "It's the creature you told me about." And then they're just like, "Let's just go." And they back up, and you never quite like, was it a real like fantastical creature?
Yeah. Did they speak it into
existence? It's kind of implied that it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of implied that she like, no, she caught a real one.
Yeah. Oh, what about the episode where their daughter becomes an actress accidentally? Mr.
That's
Chocolate.
A phenomenal episode, Mr. Chocolate, which is clearly like a Tyler Perry.
Yeah, and also Donald Glover doing a funny voice, like I'm Mr. Chocolate.
Yeah. You do realize that was supposed to be like Tyler Perry Studios, Tyler Perry everything.
That makes sense.
No, seriously. So Tyler Perry, he bought a bunch of land in Atlanta and made his own studios.
Oh.
And he produces his shows. That's even like what in the episode Van is critiquing. She was like, you just make shows that like harp on these like typical black tropes and you exploit it. That's like what, you know, a lot of people accuse Tyler Perry. Well, whatever. I don't care about, we can talk about that another day, but that's like what he's making fun of in that episode.
Ah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. It's supposed to be like an analog for Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry Productions. Yeah. So, which is cool. Which is even cool that Donald Glover would even do such a thing. Donald Glover, and this is controversial. I don't know if you picked up on this. So in the season, or I don't know what season it is, in the episode where it's those random episodes that has nothing to do with the main characters. It's about that mixed racial kid in high school.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to give a scholarship to whoever is the blackest senior.
Yes. That was hilarious. That was
hilarious. And there's like a panel of like black men who like decide whether
George Wallace is there. I love George Wallace.
George Wallace. Dude, I like genuinely loved seeing him because I do like George Wallace. I think not enough people know him.
Yeah, right.
He's a comedian's comedian.
Yeah,
like, comedians know George Wallace. They respect him highly,
and everything he says is fucking hilarious too.
Yeah,
like you could.
But like I bet people watch that and it's like, oh, who's that old bigger black guy? And it's like, nah, that's George Wallace.
Respect the name George Wallace.
Exactly. GW. Respect the comedy name. GW. That's the only GW we fuck with. Dude, okay, so it's George Wallace. Who else is on the panel?
Two other guys. I don't know who the other guys were.
So I know who one of the other guys was, and this is why it's controversial. One of the other guys was Kevin Samuels. He died last year or a few months ago.
Oh.
Do you know the name Kevin Samuels?
It sounds vaguely familiar.
Anyways, Kevin Samuels, he was a YouTube/podcast person in which he would talk to mostly black women. And he would talk about relationships between black men and black women. He was one of those dudes who talked about, like, it's kind of like Andrew Tate-ish, but not like, it depends what you think. Anyways,
okay.
Like high value men, high value women. Like why, like he would say things. I literally watched a clip. He like was interviewing this woman and she was like, yeah, I just, there's nothing but trash men around. I want a man who's like this tall, whatever. And he was like, he would say things. He's like, how old are you? And she's like 39. He's like, how tall are you? She's like, 5'3". He's like, 5'3". How much do you weigh? She'd be like, 180. And he'd say that he's like, I wish a 5'3" fat 39-year-old woman would tell me that. Like people accused him of being misogynistic, piece of shit towards women. Just like he was a very controversial figure, even up to his death. So like, it's funny. Like when I saw him,
was he the main guy? Like that was giving everybody the scholarship
with the glasses? Yes. He was the main guy, which is why throughout that whole episode, I was like, I'm sorry, is Kevin Samuels like, is he an actor? Why is he doing this? Because he would mostly just do online podcasts about. Yeah.
Damn. See, I didn't know that at all.
It was weird. That's why I was like, Kevin Samuel, that's so. And also, I was like, kind of ballsy. He's not like necessarily the most liked person on the internet.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a likable guy.
So it's interesting that Donald Glover would use him, cast him, pay him to be on the show.
Interesting. Yeah. Huh.
But going back to that episode cracks me the fuck up with the mixed racial kid.
Yeah,
he builds a flamethrower to burn down the school.
There's another kid that comes with the flamethrower.
There's another kid who's mixed. He's like, let me guess, he told you you're not black enough? And then they gun him down because he's darker than the other mixed racial kid. Remember?
Yeah.
Which is fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, they both come into the schools with flamethrowers, but only one of them gets riddled with bullets.
But it proves the point that like the council was making the whole time.
The council, yeah, exactly. It proved the point that the council like was saying, which is actually
in the darkest way possible.
Well, in the darkest way possible, but it's also they're referring to colorism amongst the black community. So like, dude, it's cool that Donald Glover, like, in a dark comedic way, would like touch upon very real shit.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That Donald Glover's just a genius. Like, he's doing that. He's doing that throughout Atlanta.
The best part about that episode is the ending. It's like fast forward 5 years.
Yeah.
And that kid is working at like a Best Buy pretty much. And his ex-girlfriend from high school like notices him, and I forgot what the dude's name is, but he's like, hey, like, how are you doing? He's like, I'm cool, I'm just chilling. And then like he's like really like, I don't know, for lack of a better word, I'm using it in the context of the show, blacker, you know what I mean? Like he even like he's brushing his hair, and he didn't have waves before, but he does now.
Yeah.
And then what does he say? He says something, and he just looks straight at the camera at the end, and that's
it's just like a sitcom ending.
He breaks the fourth wall. Yeah.
Yeah. See, weird shit like that.
That episode's and it's deep. That episode's deep. Pretty much every episode was deep.
Yeah. So I'm saying it really had the balance of being funny, being dark, like making you think, making you, look at America in a way maybe you weren't looking at it before.
Dude, when the episode when Van goes to the Drake house party.
Yeah, and everyone wants a picture with Drake. He's not even there.
But it's a cardboard cutout of Drake. And people are still taking pictures of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Hold on, I had an episode I wanted to bring up. Hold on, I just had it. I think it's in season 4, when the Crank Dat Killer.
Oh yeah, Crank Dat Killer episode's great.
That was hilarious.
That's a good episode.
I like that one because like while Paperboi is like at the mall, like trying to avoid the Crank Dat Killer who murders anyone who made a YouTube video of Crank Dat back in the day, and Paperboi is like scared shit. But he gets caught in a shootout completely unrelated to the Crank Dat Killer in the mall. There's like a huge shootout. Everyone has a gun. Like another like example of just like, having commentary on America, but like, because out of nowhere, it's just a shootout at the mall. This lady has a gun. This guy has a gun. Like, and Paperboy's caught in the middle. But while this is happening in the parking lot, fucking Ern and Darius are trying to get these new Nikes. And the way they have to get it is to kiss each other. Like the whole episode, the whole episode is them bargaining with this guy who just wants them to kiss each other. He's like, no, make out for like 8 minutes or something like that. Yeah. And like Ern really doesn't want to do it because it's like, he's like, it's not the fact that I have to kiss you. It's just that like we have to like, like sell ourselves like this,
But Darius is down the whole time.
He's completely down. He's like, whatever, man. Like, that's why you got to love Darius. And why Darius is Cody. You're Paperboi. And I'm Ern. That's what we have to do.
For sure.
Yep.
I agree with that.
In this 100%. Casting universe, if we were thrown into the universe of Atlanta.
Yeah. No, this is probably the easiest one to cast for all of us.
We have those vibes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going to get the sneakers and the guy gets shot in the head in the crossfire. He gets caught in the crossfire. I like when like storylines intersect like that. Like it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, dude, also in that episode is that Little Beast story with that Latino kid that wants to be a rapper.
Oh yeah, and then he turns out to suck. Like,
well, no, but hold on. The best part is like there's literally a scene with him and his girlfriend and his daughter in the car when he gets dropped off at
deep,
work.
Yeah.
And she's like, I think you should like really consider like getting a real job, just in case of the rap thing. And he like gives this impassioned speech.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, I'll like support you. And then he like goes and he's literally working the food court and handing out free food samples.
Yep.
And one of his coworkers like, yo, did you hear Paperboy's here in the mall right now? And he's like, what? He's like, this is it. This is my opportunity.
Yeah.
And then like he goes to find him. And then meanwhile, the whole shootout has started.
Yeah.
With Paperboy and like everyone has a gun. And so Paperboy's running away and he turns the corner. And that kid is there, and he starts freestyling for Paperboy out of nowhere. He's like, "Yeah, but he's like, make it the fuck out of my way!" And like throws him,
through a window.
Through a window.
Glass breaks.
Oh shit, dude! Oh, I laughed so hard, mostly to see that this dumbass kid's dreams got crushed.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna end up being the Crank Dat Killer for whatever reason. Like he was killing rappers actually because like they weren't like liking his mixtape or something. It wasn't him, obviously, but.
No, but God, that cracked me up.
Yeah, that made me laugh out loud.
Freestyling, fucking Paperboy's like, get the fuck out of my way. Throws him through that damn
bodies him.
Oh, it's great. Oh, it's so funny. This is a great show.
Yeah, seriously. I think we should talk about the finale and then give it some peshies.
Yeah, we'll throw some peshies on it.
Yeah, because the last episode is literally called "It Was All a Dream." Obviously, a reference to Biggie Smalls.
It was all a dream. Used to be Word Up magazine.
But so Darius introduces this concept that, first of all, he's going to a float tank. And he just keeps
very Inception-like, the whole episode.
He just keeps waking up out of a dream. But the way, so his, if in Inception, the spinning top meant, you could tell what's reality and what's not. If you see a thick Judge Judy, then you're in a dream. You're not, this isn't real life. But the very last shot of the show, he's watching Judge Judy. You hear police sirens. They're all chilling, having a good time, but you don't know what he sees.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't know if, you have to, I'm assuming everything had that dreamlike quality. Like, they're in a simulation, whatever you want to call it. Like, they're literally in a TV show. They seem aware of it sometimes, Van especially.
That they're in a TV show?
Not that they're in a TV show, but Darius brings up the simulation part when they're at the party, the Drake party, and Van's kind of like, okay. Like, he's saying it to this other girl, and then something happens in Amsterdam where the episode, I forget where they go. They get kind of lost in the Infinite parking lot or the Infinite mall. Van and Ern. Do you remember that episode? They go shopping and they can't find the car and they're lost in this infinite loop.
There's that person who's been there for months or years or something.
Yeah,
remember?
it's the start of season 4.
Yeah. You're right. I forgot all about that.
They just start to get caught in these weird things, but they've always been caught in these weird things, I guess is the point. So I really think that's what it is. It didn't, the finale didn't really wrap anything up,
True.
That episode also, jumping around again, trying to wrap this up, but the farm episode, that was great and unexpected.
I love that episode and unexpected where Paperboy buys a farm.
Yeah.
And he gets attacked by wild boars.
Yeah. And he does it because that guy, who tells him to do it in the Crank Dat Killer episode? Soldier Boy tells him to get a farm.
Told him to buy a farm.
You don't have a safe farm? What's wrong with you?
Soldier Boy. Shout out.
I'm sure there were tons of cameos, throughout.
The Judge Judy reference is actually a pop culture thing.
Oh,
I guess someone had found a video or a picture of Judge Judy just out normally, and she has a fat ass. And so for a while, it went around the internet. Seriously, I saw it on my feed. It went around the internet damn, Judge Judy's got the yams. She got a big old butt. Or people were like, yo, I've watched Judge Judy since I was a child, and I didn't know she had a fat ass. What? Seriously, took the internet by storm. So it's funny that was his his dreidel or his Inception top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. So because it is real. But
because he didn't know it was real, he might have been thinking the whole time it was a dream.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
This is the Killing Joke. We don't know what is, you know what I mean? Which narrator gives us the full version. You know what was weird is going back to the camping episode with him and his daughter, his daughter and Van, is it never went there, but throughout that whole episode, there's like a scary element in the back.
Yes, like she's looking into the woods, the daughter.
Yeah. When the daughter looks into the woods, that almost felt like The Witch. Like it felt like weird and creepy shit was going to happen, but nothing ever does.
Right, exactly. Like that's like the underlying thing throughout Atlanta. A lot of times things don't happen. A lot of times things do happen. Like someone could get hit with an invisible car. That's reality.
Dude,
like
that was
Atlanta.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot all about that.
The invisible car.
Dude, and that comes back. Like they reference that.
Yes. So it's a real thing in the universe.
Oh my God, the invisible car.
Like, because even in this finale episode too, right? The other story happening is that Van, Ern, and Al are at this new black-owned sushi restaurant, and they're really like turned off by it because they want to get the Popeyes chicken sandwich, which fucking like when the Popeyes chicken sandwich first dropped, that's how it felt. You're like, I need to go get that, and it was delicious. The Popeyes chicken sandwich is fucking great. I've had a lot of those. I had 2 in one night. I don't recommend it.
I've never actually had one.
Oh my God, what?
One. No.
Popeyes chicken sandwich was so good.
Dude, that episode's hilarious. Yeah, because there's this new, it's a black owned, it's like a sushi soul food fusion restaurant, and it's like terrible.
Yeah.
And they want to support it because it's black owned, but it's just awful. It's like a disgusting, like everything they eat is disgusting. And right across the street is Popeye's chicken. And that's all.
But when the
want.
owner comes out towards the end, like he's explaining why it's not gross. Like he's like, this is actually authentic, and like this is actually how it's done in Japan. And it's like you just have the perception yourselves, like even though they're black, that he's a black sushi owner. And black sushi, he's the black owner of a sushi restaurant, and they still are like looking down on him. Like that's his point, to an obsessive, like I'm gonna murder you point now. No, yeah, I thought that was the whole point, because like even they are, and even though it's like they really want Popeyes, like that's really what they want. Like even if it was good, they just really want Popeyes. But like they're not even giving him the time of day. Like they're not giving it a chance. Like Al especially. So like the guy was crazy, but I thought he was making a point, like if that's what's happening in that moment, right? Because all of them are like, yeah, this shit, no way, it's raw. Like they're like, should it be room temperature? Like, you know, like, so it's interesting. He's kind of like, you're uncultured swine. Like you don't know anything about, you're going to eat my, and then they serve the poisonous fish. That's when they're like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, they're like, out of here. And they don't trust him to have cut it the right way.
Right. That's what sets him off.
Because he's black and not Japanese.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
oh, damn, that's crazy. Damn.
And then Darius saves him at the last second.
And he steals that old pink like Cadillac.
Yes. Yes. Which is again like so random. Like
so random.
Like stuff that would only happen in a dream. And even like Al's life, it's like a dream. Like he achieved his dream. He's Paperboi, you know?
You're right.
And even Amsterdam, it's a dream. Like it's the city of dreams. I don't know if they call it that. I don't think that's Amsterdam. But they mention it. They mention it in a couple episodes. They mention dreams in the Amsterdam season. It's just a recurring theme. And it's so different from season 2 to 3, especially. There's a time gap and just the quality of episodes. And like, not that it was ever bad. I just mean that it's just completely... It has a different vibe. Like I feel like, I don't know, it tracks that like whatever, like it doesn't matter like that it's a dream or not, because every episode stands on its own in its own weird, unique way. You know, it's just so good. I don't know. It's just such an artistic show. Like everything is.
It is. That's definitely the word.
It's full of meaning. You know, like I could rewatch it so many times. I feel like it's.
And I bet we would glean something different.
Exactly.
From each episode. Like, oh, I didn't know they were. You know what I mean? Like,
right. And like going into it now, it's all a simulation. So like where does it point to that even more? Because it points to it a lot, you know? Lemon pepper wings. I don't know. That's not a simulation, but lemon pepper wings. I just remembered lemon pepper wings.
Yeah.
I put the lemon pepper on there for you.
I might have to rewatch this.
Right? There's just so much to talk about. I'm sure we missed a ton of moments too.
Yeah.
There's just so much goodness.
So much goodness. Well,
6 from me, baby.
Yeah.
Easy.
I agree. Hard agree. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I like breezed through it. I was like, this show's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Atlanta gets a
6-6.
Almost.
I came here for Atlanta. That shit rules.
Dude.
Thank you, Satan.
Thank you, Satan.
Nice. We knew you would approve.
Yeah.
No, it's seriously great. Highly recommend it. Watch every season. I binged it actually pretty fast. Like I watched all 4 seasons in 2 weeks. It wasn't.
They're also like, they're pretty short. They're kind of like
Yeah.
25-minute episodes. That's it.
Each season is like 10 episodes or even less. I think one season's 9 episodes. And like the last season is longer episodes for sure, but
For sure.
but it's
each episode's
totally watchable.
Pretty watchable.
Yeah, like 20 minutes or so. And
Yeah,
it becomes
exactly.
like 30, close to 40.
Yeah.
And that's whatever. It's good shit. You're going to want to watch it, you know? I like when they
Facts.
kind of get to, you know, some episodes are slower than others, but not in a bad way. Like, again, there's no episode I would think I would want to skip. That's hard to say for like 40 episodes
Yeah.
of a TV show, you know?
I agree completely. Yeah. Great show. Highly recommend. Go check it out. Thank you for tuning in to this smoke session episode.
Yeah. Half-baked, me and Jake,
Half-Baked.
Atlanta. Don't go near lakes.
Go near
Apparently.
lakes. Don't. Also, go watch the Goofy movie again.
Yeah.
Watch that episode because that actually is a standalone
Yeah.
episode. You do not need any other background on the show.
Right. I was actually just going to say, if there's an episode, definitely watch that. But is there an episode that you would say, I could show you this episode of Atlanta and that's what's going to get you hooked? Like, it's so hard to like pick one episode,
Yeah, it is hard to pick.
you know,
one.
because they're all so different. And I don't think just one will give you enough of like a taste of what the others are. Like, and the seasons are different. Like you said, a lot of people didn't like season 3, but I liked it a lot.
Wait, hold on. I just thought of something because I have to say before I forget it. You were going back to your point about the black sushi owner. There's also, I forget what season, it might be season 1 or 2, when they want to get a lawyer for Paperboi and they go meet with that black lawyer.
No, but yeah, they want a Jewish lawyer.
But Paperboy, he's like, man, he's like, I don't want this dude. He's like, why not? He's like, a well-respected lawyer. He's like, no, I want a Jewish lawyer. Then he keeps saying, he's like, get me a Jew lawyer now. Like, he's like,
Yep.
It's hilarious.
Oh, and then also when Paperboy does the basketball charity event and Justin Bieber is just a black guy.
Yeah.
He's not like black Justin Bieber. He's just Justin Bieber's played by a black guy. Like that's like the joke. Like they call him Justin Bieber. He's Justin Bieber.
Oh, that episode's funny.
Another just like surreal thing that points to like the simulation. Like everyone's just like, yeah, that's Justin Bieber. In Atlanta, he's a black guy.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. You're right. Yeah. That's sick. A lot to put together. Go check out Atlanta. Check out our Patreon as well if you have not subscribed, because we're already dropping hot fire by this time this comes out. Heat nuggets. Thanks for tuning in. Go check us out. Social media, Comics and Chronic, comicsandchronic.com. We out here.
Peace.
Hi, you're listening to Comics and Chronic, and I'm Jake FH.
I'm Cody Cannon.
And I'm Anthony Iannaccio.
And you can tune in every Thursday to hear new episodes of Comics and Chronic.
And make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Comics and Chronic. That's Comics, the letter N, Chronic.
We'll see you guys next week.
Woo!
Peace.